Hello, everyone. It's that time of year. We're starting to warm up. Bands are starting to wrap up with contests, UIL, concert and sight reading contests are finishing up. And some of you may be ready to transition into your leadership auditions. And that's where we are right now in this time of year. And I want to share with you what I do. Just being the only director, I have to find leadership students that going in, they understand that they are not just going to be the students that go receive the award, at the invitational and look pretty and do the salute and everything. I'm going to need them to do a little bit more. And sometimes that might even mean that they do some rehearsal, things for me as well. They run parts of the rehearsal. In a separate video I'm going to make later on, I'm going to talk about how I use my leadership students. But there are times that I may send a drum major to work with the trumpets and flutes on memorization of the fight song, or maybe to go to a practice room and work on memorizing a certain part of the show music. They're assigned to a group, and I've got to be able to know that they can handle some chatty students, some kids that may not want to really put forth the effort on a particular day. And so what I do is whenever I have students that want to audition for leadership, I actually split the band up and assign them a squad. In this particular case, I have 5 students that want to audition for a leadership position. Though those students are assigned part of the band, it worked out this time around that I have 7 students assigned to every candidate. And these students have to teach them a drill that they make up. It does not have to be fancy, but really all I ask is that it's 80 counts, and they kind of rehearse it, teach it to them, and I emphasize that I want them to use, the correct fundamentals and things like that. And so as they're doing that, I get to walk around and observe and see how they teach, how they interact. In some cases, it's very eye-opening. You see some students that are, very meticulous about the process and everything. They're very detailed. Other students that maybe they skip over some things. In some cases, even you see some groups that it's kind of hard to tell who's in control, right? And so that's good to know on the front end if a student can or cannot handle some of those responsibilities. It may require that they assert themselves with their peers, which is a really hard thing to do, but I need to see that on the front end because, I may have a student, I have to go work with certain kids on this or that while I'm doing the teaching. And so this is what we do, and this is a little bit of what that looks like. So this was taken on the very first day that we went outside. And just by walking around and being able to observe from far away, my feedback to the leadership candidates was that I wanted them to really emphasize our marching fundamentals. I think a lot of them just hit the ground and started trying to teach their drill, whereas I really wanted them to emphasize the marching fundamentals. So the second time, that was something that they were able to work on more when we went outside again. Usually what I do is I make notes of what I see, some positives and negatives for each student leadership candidate, and I'll give them feedback at the end of every day, or anytime we do this. We do this about 3 or 4 days, and then they present to the rest of the group. If I notice a consistent issue, like maybe it's kind of hard to see who's in control, then that's something that we bring up during the interview. If there's something where maybe there's a lot of dead time, a lot of time being wasted, we certainly want to eliminate that, because being the only teacher here, I have to use my leadership students. I know some people disagree with this wholeheartedly, but I have to use them to actually run part of the rehearsal. If I can't trust them to, be able to run an 80 count drill that they're making up, then when it's time to run an 8 measure little phrase that they have to memorize, then I want to know that they can, have control of the group, be able to get stuff done, even if it's just for a 15-minute chunk.